Welcome to the ABC Business Network Connections. My name is Turan Mirza, and I'm the chair of the ABC Business Network. This is a series of video interviews with members of our network so you can get to know them and find out about them. It's our hope that you will see that we are a friendly and supportive group that can help your business grow, and hopefully you can help us in return. Today I have Mahvash Graham. She is an owner of Mahvash Interiors. Mahvash Interiors is an interior design company specializing in window dressings. But rather than me telling you too much more, let me introduce you to the wonderful lady herself, Mahvash Graham. Mahvash, welcome.
Hi.
And first question I'd like to ask, as I ask everyone, is give us a bit of background to yourself. Obviously, where the name comes from and everything up to the point where the company starts.
Hi, yes, I'm Mahvash Graham. From my name, you know, it's not from Northern Ireland, but I lived in Northern Ireland for past, I would say, 45 years. I am from Iran originally, and I came to United Kingdom to study interior design with the view of going back to Iran, but 1980s, the revolution in Iran happened, and the chances of me going back as a Baha'i to Iran and be safe was literally nil. So we came with my siblings, and my parents joined us later on, and I never went back. So in 1982, I graduated from Chesterfield College of Art and Design as an interior designer. And it happened that I came to a conference in Dublin, and I just fall in love with Ireland, and came back to Dublin several times until eventually I got some job with some architects in Rathfarnham in Dublin, and stayed there until I started my own business in Drogheda. Later on, I married a Northerner. What else takes you back to Northern Ireland? And Edwin was from Enniskillen, so I moved to Enniskillen. The children came along, and at some stage in my life, I always had interior design in my mind. At some stage in my mind, I felt interior design, patchwork, why would I do that, whether it's so important to bring up children in the right way. Then later on, I came across a quotation by Abdul Baha, who is the son of Baha'u'llah, Baha'i writings. And in that quotation, he says, your home is the home of love and exaltation and happiness. And whoever comes to your home has to live happy. So this is paraphrasing the quotation, actually. So whenever I saw that quotation, I thought, why not? Why can't I make home happy for people that they live in? Before, whenever I was working with architects, of course, there was quite a lot of commercial interiors that I was doing. But then afterwards, I started to pay attention more into domestic interiors. I worked with few companies, well-known companies in Northern Ireland until 2007. And at 2007, I decided, right, it's time to start your own business. So we built this wooden structure in our land, and since then, I'm working as an interior designer here.
So in terms of starting up the company, give us a bit of background to just who your first clients were, and just tell us a bit about the company starting.
Well, to tell you the truth, I started my company in the kitchen first, because people knew that I have moved from places that I have worked before. I had built up a name, and they wanted to come to Mahvash to do their home.
Perfect.
So I started in the kitchen, and the companies were very happy to work with me. And then I put some advertisement in interior design magazines for about a year. And by then I was well established, and within that time I built this structure, wooden structure here. And now it's all word of mouth. I don't advertise anymore. People know where I am, and people that I work with or work for, they would tell others, and hence I sort of carry on. We are very small company, so therefore I choose my projects. If I'm very busy, I defer it to next, and amazingly people wait. Yeah, as I said, I specialize in window dressing, saying that I do everything, whether it's flooring, woodwork, putting some kind of structure where it's needed, or wallpaper, etc. So I have people that work for me, but they are independent people, so they work for themselves, but I subcontract them. And they do work for me, and they're quite reliable people. I'm quite fond of them because we've been working together, as I said, for past 10, 20 years in some cases. So therefore, I've got good people around to help me.
Perfect, perfect. So tell me this now. I don't know if this is just because, dare I say the phrase, I'm a man. I'll probably insult half the men out there watching this. But you say you specialize in window dressing, and I just say, well, a window is a window. What's tell me a bit more about window dressing and
it's
skills.
Funny. Yeah, it's funny because when you look at Europe and when you look at even East, you see window dressing is not essential, or it's not very important. But in Britain, I think it's because of a month of rain, and in the weather is not really predictable. So sun comes out 1 hour, and within next hour you get the darkness of the weather. So I think traditionally Britain is very famous for layers and layers of curtains. And if you look at National Trust homes, the curtains are very luxurious and very some of them very thick, so the cold doesn't come in. So for whatever reason, in Germany, for example, people are happy with voile. And so in some countries like Portugal, they have shutters, so the sun doesn't come in. But in Britain, they use layers and layers of curtains. Now, in modern situation these days, we do Roman blind, and these days we have a lot of fabrics that would block out the light, so the light doesn't intrude in, doesn't even fade the fabric, because it's block out lining, or what we call wadding. So even a Roman blind on a window makes the place pleasant, and also doesn't let the cold to come in. Although I understand a lot of windows are double glazed and etc. But still you get that in winter, you get that cold coming in. But the most important thing, there is two purposes for having window dressing. One is to create privacy. And yes, a lot of my customers don't need privacy because it's done in the middle of their own land. But in a lot of cases, people just use fabric to take away the echo from the room. Otherwise, the room can be, even in a modern situation, you still have echo if you have a hard surface on the window as well as hard surface on the walls. So I think it's important to have some sort of soft furnishing onto the window to make the window much more absorbing of the sound. So that's why I put a lot of attention. And also, each person that I go to, I know that that person, whenever they look at the window, they think of the person that have made the curtains or the window dressing. Therefore, the situation would be that I would be extremely respectful, and because I'm trying to create a happy home for people, therefore the whole process of choosing the fabric, choosing the style of the fabric, the window dressing, or even soft furnishing, the whole process is a very happy, joyful process that they would think of that room that I leave a very memorable, good, memorable place.
Wow. And I just thought it was a window. Wow. I mean, you really educated me, because, you know, you've talked about sound, you've talked about heat, you've talked about the outside as well as the inside, and the ability to create privacy. So wow, learned a lot today about interior designs and just windows. And like you say, you do other things. Windows is one of your key specialities, but you do it all. Perfect. How long does the whole process take from, say, someone picking up the phone and saying, look, Mahvash, I'd love you, I've seen some of your work and I'd love you to come around and have a look at my windows. How long would that take?
It's different for different people. A person phones me and say, I would like, say, just one window dressed. So I always prefer to go to them to show the fabrics in their environment, because they can come to the studio and choose the fabrics in the studio. And I would hold quite a lot of companies like Zoffany, Mulberry, Baker, Linwood, etc. A lot of companies that I would have their fabrics that I can show it to them. But I prefer to go there because somehow the light is always different. The light in your environment and the light in the studio is too different. You can choose a fabric, no problem, but as soon as you take it home, it could be quite different. So I go there and show them. I have a look, first I have a look at their style. By going inside the house, you know whether they are modern or traditional, whether they would like minimalistic, whether they like classic. So as soon as I see that situation, then I can sort of suggest few fabrics that would suit their place, and styles that would suit their place. And if the fabrics are chosen immediately, which normally I would say I would leave the fabrics with them and they come back to the studio, or depending how far they are, I make a second visit and measure and execute the design. Now, from the beginning to the end, it can take anything between 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes quicker, sometimes later. It all depends what they want and how big the project be. Now, apart from that, we do soft furnishing. Some people would like to recover their suite of furniture, and it all depends how sentimental things are. We can do that, or I can choose just one-off chair that would make the place look fresh. Or they might like to have wallpaper, or I choose one wall that I think wallpaper would actually add on to the area, and then the rest would be painted, or choose the color of the paint and paint the place. Sanderson and Zoffany, both those companies have got their own paints, which is very, it's like a National Trust color. When you use Dulux or Crown, somehow the colors are very sharp, whether when you use the National Trust colors, it's very subtle and very deep. You know, yellow is yellow, but when you see yellow of Zoffany, it's very different to yellow of high street paint. So we could do anything that people want, and it depends how long it will people are happy for. Yeah,
It's a bit of a how long's a piece of string type question.
exactly.
So lovely answer. Again, you mentioned coming along and maybe just doing one window. I'd sort of assumed that for hiring someone like yourself, you would need to be getting in for the full house, but you can do single window up to how big? What sort of range of size of jobs will you take on?
Nothing is small and nothing is too big. My purpose for doing what I'm doing is a service that makes people happy. Now, of course, it costs. There is money involved. I spend money. I buy my fabrics. I employ people to make the blind or curtain. I employ people to put the curtain up on a pole. I buy the pole. So therefore, it does take money to do that. But at the same time, even if people want to put up their own Roman blind, I can go through the details and show them how to fix the mechanism of Roman blind to put it up, and they can do it themselves. So I have seen people doing sort of a window less than 60 centimeters, say 2 feet, 3 feet wide, and about 3 feet drop. That's fine. I can do that. But I think people would also benefit of doing a dressed window of curtains and luxurious look. Now, I know the modern look would be much more minimalistic. And if you see my website and you see my Facebook, a lot of photograph is taken of very classical and traditional curtains, because literally the modern buildings that I do are absolutely beautiful, but because it's so minimalistic, the photograph doesn't do justice no matter what you do. But whether a lot of photographs that you see on my Facebook, for example, would be of more traditional look. But I'm not a traditional or modern designer. I'm a designer according to your need.
Perfect. Perfect. And again, next question really is about your ideal client. You've talked a lot about homes, but I understand you do commercial work as well. So who would your ideal client
Yes.
be?
Well, my ideal client is a person that has the bother to phone me or bother to come and ask me to go and do their work. So every single person is respected and every single person is ideal. But I have done work for a state agent, for example. I finished about 14 apartments for him in Dungannon, and you know, that was lovely big job that not only included the curtains and windows dressing and blinds, etc. It also every single thing in terms of planning, because the way it was an open building that we had to divide the sections into different apartments, so into drawings of the dividing the sections, putting the structure for divisions, and also the soft furnishing inside, which would have been suite of furniture, carpets, rugs, wallpapers, even dining tables, and I even, for his work, I even bought even plates and salt container, etc. So everything was included, and it was a part of. But then I have also done just literally curtain for one room, or people often come and ask for one room to be done, and by 2 or 3 years, I find that every single room in their homes is done by me, one after the other. And I actually prefer that, because, you know, when you move into a new home, where is the most important place that you live in and you want it dressed.
Yeah.
You do that section, and then you do the next and the next, and they're all because it's done by the same designer. I know that what the taste is like and how it would go through from one area to the other.
Excellent, excellent, good stuff. And again, you already mentioned and hinted about Facebook and stuff. So if someone wants to get in contact with you, or even just to look at browse some of your excellent work, where's the best place to see your work?
Well, I have Instagram, I have Mahvash Interiors, as Facebook. My website at the moment, because you're so busy, you just don't. My website is a bit old, but one of the girls in the group in the Bambridge group, she's doing my website at the moment, so hopefully the website will come soon. But there is a website, mahvashinteriors.com, so you can go on that, and there is also Facebook and Instagram under Mahvash Interiors. Yeah.
And I'll put the website and the details in the description section of this video below. So that's wonderful. Mahvash, you've been a lovely person to interview, to chat with today. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you for having me.